morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of Student Scholar Days. I'm so happy to see some students in the audience, so thank you for supporting Alan. Before we get started, I just want to give a very special thank you to Danny Ladoni for doing all the interviews of the presenters that he did yesterday, and so we really appreciate that. It's so valuable to have it on film. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Danny Ladoni and his students.
So thank you so much for coming this morning. As Jenny alluded just a minute ago, we'll be posting all of the interviews and of course the Student Scholar Day presentations themselves on the Adams State YouTube channel, so I invite you to check that out. I have the distinguished honor of presenting Alan Jackman this morning for you. Alan I met at this time a year ago, almost to the day, because he came in to do an interview for being the general manager for Grizzly Video, which he has done this year. And Grizzly Video, of course, is our on-campus video production student media organization, and he's done a fantastic job this year of getting his feet wet, learning many new things, and it was an easy choice for me to nominate him for this presentation because I've seen how much work he's poured into his projects over the last year, and he'll of course tell you more about that. But what I admire most about Alan is that he very early on began to challenge himself to make a rather ambitious project, and then he did the very brave and very crazy thing of doing it a second time and a third time and a fourth time. So he's been very persistent, and I think that persistence is what I find most remarkable about his work. He also challenged himself. If you look at the brochures, you'll see that there are many of the Student Scholar Day presentations with somewhat long titles, but Alan challenged himself to title his presentation in 5 letters or less, and he succeeded, so please give a warm welcome to Alan Jackman.
Thank you, Danny, for that great intro. I'm going to start off with showing you guys a clip real quick.
It's working. I can't believe the app was such a huge hit.
Have you ever realized Jared talks to himself?
This time it just took 50.
The president has declared an immediate evacuation of the eastern part of North Carolina.
Now what? Do you remember how much you had? I didn't get you to dance in.
So, anything yet?
She has to be silenced.
How many people know about this?
None. How did you find this out?
Next is California, then Beijing.
So that was my teaser trailer I released about maybe 3 days before spring break called It's called Float. It's a 6-part web series I started last semester, and I finished 2 episodes last semester, my pilot episode and my second episode, and I have 3, 4, 5, and 6 in production/post-production right now. So hopefully it'll all get done before May. But the theme of Float really is, it started off as a murder mystery, and then as the episodes went on, it kind of turned into more of a political side of a thriller. And I mean, I like action movies, so I have to have some action in there as well. But how I got the idea of Float really was, it came to me on a rainy day. I was lifeguarding over the summer, I had nothing to do, and it just kind of hit me. Then I wrote it down, I waited till I got home, and I started writing an outline for the story. I ended up with an outline that night, and then about a week later ended up with a script. And I liked the script, but there was a problem with the script. I didn't really have much of a conflict. I had a murder mystery, but I wanted something bigger. I wanted something that would really kind of impact more on, I guess, society and how we're growing and, I guess, our way of making technology. And so it's kind of, technology is becoming way too advanced for our well-being. So I sat down with my godfather over the summer in between a prelim final swim meet at a Starbucks. And we brainstormed on a kind of a conflict, and it all became, it all was centered around a day called Float Day. And what Float Day is one day out of the 365-day year, if you have $5 million in your bank account, you can transfer that money to any international bank around the world for free. But there's a loophole. The loophole is, now with the technology these days, you can do that to 24 different banks in 24 different time zones around the world. So you're basically robbing the bank of their interest rate. And with the currency exchange, you could, if you do it correctly, end up with $350,000 in a day. So now what if you have multiple accounts with $5 million in there? Because I know a few people that probably do. So let's just say you have 3. So 350,000 times 3 is $1,050,000. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money to me. But to some people, that's not a lot of money, and not to our main man, Finnegan McFall. He's played by Matthew Wesley, who is also an ASU theater major here at Adams State. What Finnegan McFall is, he's an app creator / entrepreneur. And what I mean by entrepreneur is he has helped create this technology or integrated it into a third-party banking app. And what this app features is up-to-date checking on your account, and you can import bank account and credit card information. But what this app stands out from, your Bank of America app or your Chase Bank app or your Hire One account app is you can purchase with the app. And the only other app that I know on the App Store that can do this is the Starbucks app. And you're not using your credit card, you're using gift card money. So Finnegan has integrated that technology with the banks. And this app is called the Wallet app. Now this app did so good in the marketplace that Apple, Samsung, Microsoft, all the top name phone companies integrated the app onto the iPhones. So the iPhone 7, the Samsung 32, whatever, comes out with the next update that is on your home screen of the app. So you no longer have to go and download it. All you got to do is press the app, input all your info, and now you can go check out at Walmart, Target, McDonald's, the local brewery or bistro. But there's a problem with the app. And I'm not going to tell you what's wrong with the app because I want you to go watch it and figure out what's wrong with the app. So here's the synopsis real quick. It's Finnegan McFall creates an app where you can enter your credit card and bank account information into your phone, and you can purchase anywhere in the world. He is making a worldwide change in the way you check out. He was also a little greedy one day transferring money on Float Day, and he has grown some eyes from the CIA. One in particular is Chase Hawks. Chase gets a little greedy as well and starts snooping around the FDR bank. That is where we find him murdered. Jared Dart, his partner, is now trying to find his killer. Now a little background story on the FDR bank. This is Finnegan's bank. In 2008, when the stock market semi-crashed and Bush was bailing out the banks, he didn't bail out the FDR bank. Finnegan did. And so the FDR bank is in Finnegan's debt, and that's his bank, and Finnegan does not like people snooping around. So now we have our 2 main characters, Chase Hawks, who's played by Tyler Klemp, and Jared Dart by David Boniek. Tyler Klemp is a cyclist here at Adams State, and David Boniak is a junior at the ASU Theater department as well. They're both CIA agents. Jared is psychotic, and Chase was obsessed with Finnegan because he ends up dead at the FDR Bank. Now, what I mean by psychotic for Jared is this is where the fun began. Shooting the fact that Chase is in his head, but I can't show the characters that, but I want to show the audience that. So here's a little clip real quick on what I mean.
I think you burned the burgers. I mean, you always did such a grilling.
You have a terrible remark.
Hey, who's watching?
That was really, really fun to shoot. And there's actually a really trippy scene next that I really want you guys to go see. But how I shot that was I did over-the-shoulder shot over David to get Tyler talking, and then I had to go around and do Tyler to David, and then I had to come back around and do a clean slate when Mark walks out. But I had to have Tyler still talk while he was running audio, and it gets really, really crazy when we shoot stuff with Tyler in there when Tyler doesn't really exist. And so when you put it in the editing room, you can kind of get confusing, but not if you have the script next to you, and that's where it comes down to is pretty much the writing. The writing is the most important part of pretty much float, and that's what I love about it. So with the writing, I had 7 outlines. I ended up with 6 scripts. I rewrote 4 of them. I ended up with 6 shooting scripts in the end, and the total of the 6 shooting scripts is 75 pages. Not long enough for a feature, but long enough for a short if I want to put everything together. What was fun about writing it was in episodes 1 and 2 I had from over the summer, but during Christmas break, I had to write 3, 4, 5, and 6 in pretty much a week because my Christmas break wasn't like a month long. It was a week long because I had to come back for the swim team and swim 2 weeks before school started. So with the 6-day time span, I sat down with my mom, who really watches TV and movies all the time, and we sat down and thought about an outline. And we put up more questions in episode 3, answered some of the questions in episode 4, brought up more questions in episode 5, but left it in the cliffhanger so you'd come back and watch it in episode 6 where we answer all of the questions. And with that is the shooting days. The shooting days can get really, really long if you make them long. We shoot mainly on the weekends because, 9 out of my 10 characters are all ASU theater majors, and they all have rehearsals. So they don't have it on the weekends, so we shoot on the weekends. The Saturday before spring break, we ended up shooting 6 scenes from one episode in about 4 hours. And I mean, that's nothing when it gets compared to Hollywood, where Hollywood shoots, 12-hour days. So we shoot maybe 3 to 4 hours. And I'm actually lucky because later today, I'm actually shooting in the art building with some of my guys as well for the 6th episode. So with that, I have to travel light. So my main equipment is literally the bare minimum. We have lighting kits at Grizzly Videos, but I don't use them because it just takes too long to set everything up, and I only have them for a few hours, which is bad on my part, but I want to get everything shot and done with. So my camera is the T3i Canon, and I love this camera. I love it, I love it, I love it. I love the shallow depth of field I get with it. I use a 55mm for close-ups and a 35mm, which is what you see right there. And with the audio, I use the Zoom H4n recorder along with the Rode shotgun mic, and you just plug it in and press record, and that's your separate audio. And I'm using separate audio this semester because I didn't last semester, because the struggle is real. And what happened was, last semester, that's literally the first scene of the first episode that sets the tone for the entire show. David walks up for a monologue. I get into the editing room, and I find out I have no sound at all. We plugged in the shotgun mic to the camera, and the batteries were dead in the shotgun mic. So we had 0 audio at all. Well, the thing is David's on the improv troupe as well. So when we're in there trying to figure out how to ADR it, which is voiceover, he didn't say what was on the script. He improvised it. So he had to read his lips to figure out what he said. And the way his head was and the way the camera was, you couldn't really see what he was mouthing. So how I fixed that problem was I cut that part out and I threw in a cutaway shot of his hand, like on the casket and whatnot. And we ended up doing the voiceover with it. And it ended up working really well, but it wasn't to my satisfaction, but it worked. So more of the struggle is getting all the actors together. that's really hard because I can't shoot nights during the weekend or during the weekdays, so I have to shoot on the weekends. So, and then getting my off-campus locations. I just realized yesterday that I lost some footage from episode 5 that pretty much sets the tone for kind of the episode 6. And now I have to go bug the person that I used the house for, see if I can get it again for like an hour. And then of course the audio, but not just the problem with the audio, but when I use to rack focus with the camera, you can hear my hand on the lens rack and focus with the internal mic. And so that right there. And then of course just continuity where, you know, water bottle's here and then the next scene it's there, or it's half full, half empty. And then continuity with the audio has been a real challenge as well. You know, they'll sit there, they'll say it on the script, and then the next take they won't say it the right way. And so when I'm in the editing room putting it together, it all just sounds weird. And then the music, I want to put it on YouTube, but I wanted to monetize my video. But the problem is I was using third-party music, and so they wouldn't let me monetize it. So that's been kind of a trouble too. And there's much, much more that I've encountered in the last few months, but it's all gonna happen. So how you can watch Float is you can go to Facebook.com/ASU Float. That is where I put teaser statuses, pictures, and then pretty much every episode will be posted on there, and it'll send you straight to my YouTube channel. Or you can just go straight to YouTube, search my name, Alan Jackman, and press the little subscribe button, because you can watch Float, you can watch my other stuff that I've done for Grizzly videos as well, for the swim team and for the cycling team. You can also see Float, and then my production I'm doing tomorrow with a colleague of mine, and then also my short film that I'll be producing over the summer based on the short novel, The Yellow Wallpaper. But while you're at YouTube, go ahead and search the Grizzly Video Production guys, and go ahead and watch all the practicum and the music video guys as well, because they all work really, 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 really hard on their stuff as well. I know Abe has some really great stuff, and I know Kelly does too. I know Richard Flynn has been working on a project all year long, and I know Joshua has been working really, really hard on his project as well. So don't just go look at mine, go look at Grizzly Videos, and go look at the practicum and the music video guys as well. With those guys, don't just watch their videos and give them likes and whatnot. Go to their YouTube channel as well, press subscribe, and then when they come out with something, swipe it, copy it, put it on your Facebook page, and send it out. Say, hey, I saw this. I'm in class with this person. It's pretty cool. Check it out. And then we grow subscribers as well. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys with the quote real quick. It goes, technology can be our best friend, and technology can also be the biggest party poopers of our lives. It interrupts our own story, interrupts our ability to have a thought or a daydream, to imagine something wonderful because we're too busy bridging the walk from our cafeteria back to the office on our cell phone. And that's from my idol from writing and directing, Steven Spielberg. So, any questions? No? Fantastic.
I'll throw it out for you.
Okay, throw
I'm
one.
not going to let you off. So, talk about how you're going through this storytelling structure and now you're trying to organize it into a film. Do you find yourself focusing more on your characters or more on your plot? Because it sounds like you have a very plot-intensive kind of story. It's a very complicated story, but you also have characters that you really want your audience to connect with, who have their own wants and desires.
That was actually a problem with the pilot episode and the second episode, to be honest. I didn't really put much of a background story on many of them, and I realized that flaw, and so over the Christmas break, I was writing the 4 episodes, and I did throw out some background information with those guys, so you can kind of connect them with a little bit. But the plot, it kind of jumps around here and there. And the plot is very big and it's very broad, and it's very hard to shoot the plot, especially since the plot is so worldwide. So I tried to make you feel more with the characters, whereas Jared is psychotic. I want you to see that he's psychotic, and I want to see that the other characters are kind of getting hints that he is getting psychotic. Where in that clip where I showed you where the character Mark walked out and he looked at the twig, and the twig was there, and he goes, what are you doing? Or in the trailer where Mason asks Eric if, have you realized that Jared's talking to himself? And he's like, no, you're stupid, shut up. So it is becoming easier to get the people to like the characters a little bit more.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
discover or get your work out there?
I think it is, but I feel like it's really hard to do that though. If you had someone with 100,000 subscribers, then no, not at all. That's really easy. But when you have only 8 subscribers or 10 subscribers on your YouTube channel and you do this, that's really, really hard to do. So what I intend to do is I'm actually using Float as kind of getting my feet wet. I haven't really done much of film production for maybe about a year. So kind of getting my feet back wet, and I really never used a DSLR as well. So with the project I'm doing tomorrow with a colleague of mine, we'll definitely go through a film festival. It's going through the Road Mike Film Festival, which they're giving away like $70,000 worth of equipment. And so that's going into the film festival. And then my project over Christmas or over summer break about the yellow wallpaper will hopefully go through the film festival area as well. So I think it is, and I think it's kind of more of a treat for my subscribers as well, because if they're subscribed to me and they watch it, they're like, oh hey, we get a little hint of this, or maybe I'll just send something out through my YouTube subscribers and put it on Vimeo and say, hey, go watch this. Here's the password. And so they'll be able to watch something that will go through the film festival route, but we'll see. So I think it is kind of the new direction, but only for the people that have a lot of subscribers.
What do you watch in your free time? Like, do you watch movies or directors you like, or TV shows? What are you interested in?
Oh, I love watching action movies. It's kind of bad now because I ruin movies for my families and friends a lot of the time because I see a lot of the mistakes that they do, and it bothers me. And so I say, oh, hey, Dad, that glass moved. The continuity person was bad. But I love watching, my big show that I'm watching right now is House of Cards on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And I absolutely love the way it's written. I love the acting in it, it's great. I also watch Battlestar Galactica, my inner nerd in me. I love the way that's written as well. And then my all-time favorite show is Futurama. And I love the way that one is written too, because the way I wrote Float is in episodes 1 and 2, there are some hints in there that you can't find out until about 5 and 6. And Futurama did that as well. The pilot episode, they threw about a 3-frame bit in there that ended up coming in the 3rd season that ended up changing the entire show. And so I just love the way they wrote that show as well. And I love Tom Hanks. I love Will Smith, Steven Spielberg, all those great directors and actors as well. And so that's kind of what I watch on my free time. On my free time, I end up reading a lot of scripts and studying a lot of film. And I think that has really helped me in the second semester working on the 4 episodes of Float. Then in my first semester, just diving right into it, I kind of took the time, studied some film and studied some scripts, and I think that's really helped me in the long run.
Last thing I would ask, what advice would you give yourself going back to episode 1? If you were able to travel in time, this could be a movie script, and you had to give yourself advice about starting over, what's one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Definitely use separate audio. I wish I would have listened to you when you said that, and I really wish I would have listened to my co-producer, John Howitzer, as well, when he told me on set, it's like, you should run back and grab separate audio. And I'm like, oh no, we're fine. And then I get in the editing room and there's no audio. So definitely separate audio. It's definitely worth the time on syncing up the audio. On the scripts, I don't know if I would change anything, because I realized that a lot of what I wrote in the script didn't really kind of hit me until later, like the FDR bank. I just kind of made up a bank. And then when I'm sitting there writing this PowerPoint, I end up realizing the FDR bank, Finnegan's first name starts with an F, Finnegan's bank. It kind of all just kind of threw it together. And I'm sitting there going, oh, oops, I did that on accident. How about that? So that ended up working, but definitely the separate audio and probably using a stabilizer for most of it, because a lot of my shots are shaky, and I don't like that, because a lot of people don't like the shakiness of the camera, and it kind of gives people motion sickness as well. So definitely use the stabilizer and separate audio.
I don't know if this is a question or just something to throw out there. You mentioned that you have helped to ruin films for some of your friends because you helped them to recognize the flaws in films. Do you think that as filmmaking becomes more of a commonplace activity, cost of the equipment goes down, there are film programs at institutions like this one that couldn't have had one 20 years ago and so on. Do you think that more and more people are learning more and more about the making of films, the writing, directing, editing, all those aspects of filmmaking? Do you think that that is leading to a more critical consumer, that the audience for film is becoming more critical of the product, and do you think that that will help to improve that product?
I think so. I think it's a lot of, it comes from the creative mind. I mean, you don't even have to go out and buy a camera to make a video. You can make a video using your smartphone. And that's the cool part is I don't go to, Full Sail University, which is a film-based school, or I don't go to the University of Texas that has a high recognized film festival or film school is there. I'm here at a school where it's a mass communication. It's not film, but I'm focusing it on film. And so I think that's what really helps people that aren't at film school is because it helps with the creative mind, and you're not being poured down, this is how you shoot this is what you need to do. It's our own way, and it's how we do it. So I think that is a cool thing that is going to happen soon, and I do agree with that. Is it's easier to just take out your smartphone, do a 20-minute bit, and edit it on your phone and export it out, and there you go. You have a film right then and there. It may not be up to Hollywood standards or up to the film festival standards, but you have a film. Cool, and thank you guys for coming out.